Okay, so the thumbnail on this is going to be for the new series I'm doing, which I'm calling Rachel's Scary Stories. My idea is basically I'm going to just spitball, tell some scary stories, maybe write some stuff down, play around, see what I come up with, and I don't know, we'll see how this evolves. But for this first one, I figured I would tell you about the creepy ass dream that I had last night, and the pictures you're looking at have to do with that. Uh, I want to do ghost stories and monster stories and like all of that kind of shit. And I'm not a very big horror fan, so this might be interesting. Like, this is all gonna be like the fucked up shit in my head that scares me, or just shit that I think will creep a lot of people out. This is essentially scary stories for Duke the radio show. And so last night in my dream, this is what I remember of it. I'm in my living room, and there's a big glass picture window behind me where I sit, and I just hear something like pounding on the glass, and I pop up and I look out the window, and like at first I thought I saw a Bigfoot. I didn't know what I was looking at, and like the more I looked at it, the more I realized that this was some kind of person. Yeah, and all I could see was like these white white eyes with black pupils silhouetted against the hairy fucking face, covered in white paint, thick white paint. Like he had mud on his face or some shit, like an inch thick. And he was covered in hair from head to toe, and he had long, human like hair on his head. He stood about like 6 feet tall, average man sized, and he had been pounding on the window, and his handprints were on the window, and they were human looking. And as I sat there, like staring at this thing, I don't know, like the more I looked, the more afraid I got. The more I'm like, this isn't an animal, and this isn't human. I don't know what this is. And it was, honest to God, one of the scariest fucking things I've ever seen. It was like a monkey man. And like honestly, I've been doing a lot of fucking research and shit on ancient civilizations and human past and whatever, and like I don't know how much of that is like I opened my brain up to certain pathways, and like this thing that I saw was one of our ancestors from like 300,000 years ago or some shit like that. Like this was one of the first people to ever be people, I think that's what I was looking at, and it terrified me. And like it, the way he was dressed and appeared and everything, other than the hair, he would have fit in with the Aborigines in Australia. Honestly, I think that if they saw him and got to know him, that the Aborigines would have welcomed this person in as one of them. Today's society, I don't know. He'd probably get clubbed to death or put in a fucking zoo. But 100%, like this is a human. I recognized it as a human when I saw it. And like, if there is any truth to like the Akashic record and fucking the truth in dreams and whatever, I think in some way I peered through the mists of time, and I went looking for what we used to look like basically, and it came up and beat on my fucking window in my dreams. I think that's fucking interesting. And maybe that's just like my own fever pitched imagination of what that thing could look like. And I don't know why it is that the idea of a monkey man or an ape man is so terrifying to me. but it kind of is. And I think part of it is we, as humans, are not the apex fucking thing on the planet. And we know it. And we survive by cunning and guile and basically being really good swimmers occasionally. Like, it's undebatable that, at least for a good part of our existence, we were a semi aquatic species. We were boat people. Like, if you look around the world, the oldest form of culture that really still exists are either the Aborigines or boat people. Like, boat people in Southeast Asia are, I don't know how long they've been doing that, but a very, very long goddamn time. I don't know what that has to do with my dream, really, but if we did create something like this, either as a weapon or to grow organs or whatever, if we created some sort of animal human hybrid of apes and humans or bears and humans or some shit like that, this is the shit that I really could see ending our fucking planet. Like, you want to know where this goes scary? Like, imagine for a second they created a fucking alien. Basically, that's what we're talking about. We're making a species that could wipe us out and replace us. How fucking terrifying is that? The scariest aliens we've ever fucking seen are, like alien bears. Imagine if you blended human beings and bears and like added in some cat shit. Like, you could have all sorts of crazy ass things. And with some of the stuff that they're doing, like, you could build an army of these. And I'm starting to wonder if maybe like some of the ancient Egyptian shit talking about the gods and some of the ancient Hindu shit talking about the gods and all their weird science shit. I'm wondering if that wasn't some of the shit that, like, if the planet was flooded at some point by the gods, quote unquote, was it to kill off armies of these things and then reseed the planet with us? And I'm wondering now if we haven't taken the experiment to its logical conclusion and they're getting ready to wipe the planet again. And I think maybe the powers that be know this. I don't know. I have a whole nother video to make later today on shit that's going on with the weather and the things that they are doing and what I think. And like, if you like this, and you should definitely stick around for that. That's not going to be a scary story, I don't think, but uh, basically, I think we're headed into an ice age, and I have reasoning behind why I think that. Some of the answers for where we could be going are scary, and I hope this new scary stories series on here is going to be something fun to distract people, at least maybe. I'm gonna have to come up with ideas for other stories and whatnot because I'm not that into scary shit and I've never written that many things. But like, I think I could come up with some doozies. Like, that ape man thing in my dream scared me, and like, I don't know. I think I could explain things in a way as to where they would scare you too. And to me, the most haunting thing about that thing that I saw was the eyes peeking out through the thick pancake like mud. I could, it was like I could see his soul or some shit like that. It was fucking freaky. What do you think? Do you think that maybe these things existed once or are being created in labs now? Do you think that I'm just some crazy fucker and that was some good weed I smoked? What do you think about my dream? Do you think this is a good idea for a series? Do you want to hear more? Would you like to know more? Thanks for watching. Leave me a comment too.